Cancer Alley, Louisiana, an 85-mile stretch along the Mississippi River from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, has more than 140 industrial plants.
Mossville, Louisiana, African-American community founded by freed slaves. The residents here suffer from health conditions such as cancer and high mortality rates.
Recent studies found dioxin in some people's blood, and the level was 3 times higher than the national average. Dioxin is a known cause of cancer and other illnesses.
There are more plastic plants, oil refineries, and other chemical plants in this small area than anywhere else in the United States.
In 2002, Louisiana had the second highest death rate from cancer in the United States.
Don't you know children was born here and they left all this water contaminated? They didn't come and say knock on anybody's door and say, y'all need to be moved out of here. They just let the people live like, okay, they die, so what?
One thing that started to really become clear was that women were relating to me about this strange problem that didn't affect any generation but their daughter's generation. There was this increase in fertility problems, there was an increase in birth defects, and there was an increase in reproductive problems, miscarriages, a higher rate of miscarriages.
And your husband used to work here, right?
My husband worked at Conoco, yeah. And, we're not able to have kids.
1988. I'm sitting on the foot of my mother's bed. She's sick. On the news comes a breaking report of a Greenpeace protest, and the banners read, Cancer Alley. This section of land in Louisiana has the highest number of cancer incidents in the United States. He said people are sick, people are dying in this state, and it's because of oil processing. I turned and I looked at my mother lying in bed.
I'd always dreamed of a large family. And I'm very privileged and honored to have 2 wonderful sons, but I had 9 miscarriages.
Factor that into the cost of gasoline. Make the companies pay for that. See how much a gallon of fuel costs. People ask me why I do what I do. Do I tell them the truth? Do I tell them that I grew up hating oil companies? Do I tell them that that hatred was what fueled me? Everywhere that oil is processed, this happens. There's a cancer alley in New Jersey. There's a cancer alley in California. There's a cancer alley in Nigeria. Those people suffer just as much.
In 2001, a division of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency found levels of the dioxin compound vinyl chloride in the air in Mossville at concentration 100 times what is permitted by federal law and ethylene dichloride at 20 times.
This entire population has been exposed to thousands of toxic chemicals, and none of it has been cleaned up. Cancer, skin rashes, and respiratory problems among children is of great concern.
Most of the chemicals produced in Cancer Alley are either known cancer-causing chemicals or they're suspected to cause cancer in humans.
Some of the communities in this area have been completely cleared out. They were so polluted that companies bought the towns and bulldozed them.
Despite continued health problems and environmental pollution, companies are still getting permits to open more plants in the area.
Cancer affects people all around the world, not just in Louisiana. In 2012, in the United States, cancer was the second most common cause of death, only behind heart disease. Cancer doesn't discriminate against race, gender, age, or socioeconomic background. It affects everybody, no matter where they're from or what they look like or how much money they make.
Friends, family have cancer. My roommate, actually, both of her parents have cancer, and my other roommate, her grandfather has cancer.
Okay, that's very unfortunate. How are they dealing with that right now, do you know?
I think it's tough for them right now, but I know that they're being as strong as they can be, and I'm trying to be there as best for them as I can.
That's really good. How did you feel if and when they shared the news with you?
I was shocked and really upset because they're like family to me, so it hurt me, just as much. But I'm just trying to be strong for them because I know that's all that I can do.
Well, that's really courageous of you, Taylor, and I'm sure that's what they need. What advice do you give for your friends?
It's hard to look for the right thing to say because nothing's going to make them feel completely better. But all you can do is let them know that you're there for them because that's a really easy time for them to feel alone. So as long as they know that you're there and that you care, it makes them feel a little bit better.
All right. In any aspect of your life, can you relate to what your friends are going through?
I've had a bunch of family members with different types of illnesses, not cancer, but ones that are just, they make the same kind of impact. They're scary, and they're a big deal. So it really does hurt knowing that there's not really that much you can do but love them.
Most of the people who live in this region are African Americans. Many are the poor descendants of plantations living in unincorporated towns with no political say in what goes on in their communities.
Illiteracy, racism, and segregation still reign large in the former plantation communities.
Even with all of the high levels of dioxin, the report from the U.S. Health Agency said that the source of dioxin exposures in the Mossville residence is still not known. The situation in Cancer Alley is an example of environmental racism. By definition, environmental racism is racial discrimination in environmental policymaking and enforcement of regulations and laws, as well as the deliberate targeting of low-income or African American communities for the placement of toxic waste facilities. Most of the residents in Cancer Alley are either African American or suffering from poverty, and they have little to no control over their environment. This is a problem because companies keep building more industrial plants that release toxins into the air. The residents continue to have terrible side effects, yet the government is doing nothing to resolve the issue.
Thing. You're in your office, and you're drinking your bottled water or whatever it is, and you think to yourself, hey, I'm going to throw this away. No, I'm going to be virtuous. I'm going to put it in the blue bin. He's like, I put mine in the blue bin. And then and then you look at your colleague, you say, oh, you cretin, you put yours in the white bin. We have a moral tickle, we feel so good about ourselves. But if we, maybe, okay, I'm speaking for myself, not you, but I feel this way often. And, so we kind of have this kind of moral feel-good moment. But if we were to be able to follow that little bottle on its journey, we would be shocked to discover that all too often that bottle is going to be put on a boat. It's going to go all the way across the ocean at some expense, and it's going to wind up in a developing country, often China. I think in our minds we imagine somebody's going to take the little bottle and say, oh, little bottle, we're so happy to see you, little bottle.
Each generation is confronting more difficult solutions because
little or no action has been taken.
Without meaningful solution, life for those who live there will
continue to deteriorate and
all hope will quickly fade.